Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome episode of Youth Connect. I'm Aiden.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
Hi, I'm Logan.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey.
And welcome to our Youth Connect. Hi, guys. Welcome for another awesome episode of Youth Connect. I can't wait to share with you some awesome news today. If you don't know, what in the world is Youth Connect? Youth Connect is a news entertainment show that was created for more than just sharing stories, because everyone here is trying to create an environment or platform of inclusion and acceptance, one episode at a time. And on top of that, we are all advocates for all abilities, and we want to be included in opportunities wherever we find the chance to have them. Youth Connect is a show that I know that you are going to love. We got video game news, we got some interesting news, we got some cooking knowledge, and even some live music. It's a whole mixed bag of awesome stuff. Anyways, if you guys know, I am your main host, Aiden, and my co-hosts, Kevin, Logan, and Jeffrey, are all here to share with you some awesome news. All right. And I will ask my co-hosts, are you guys ready to share with our listeners and our viewers today some awesome news, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the way to do it, Jeff. All right. So if you guys know, the first thing that we always have to bring up first is some gaming news. All right, first things up is the game of the week, and today's game of the week is a game that actually I've just been playing today, and I think that you guys should check it out. It's an old classic and actually won a few awards, and it is made by the talented mind of Daniel Mullins. But do watch out, this game does have dark themes to it. A game that has been captivating players and critics alike, still finding secrets to this very day. Developed by Daniel Mullins Games, Inscription is a masterful blend of roguelike deck building, escape room puzzles, and psychological horror. At first glance, Inscription invites you to a seemingly straightforward card game set in a dark, eerie cabin. Players quickly realize that there's much more beneath the surface. As you duel a sinister figure known as Leshy, the Scribe, you collect cards and build a deck to survive his twisted challenges. But what makes Inscription truly stand out is its ability to really blow the expectations of the game at every single turn. The story unfolds through layers or acts, each time, with each card and puzzle revealing more of the game's unsettling narrative. The cabin holds many secrets, and players must solve a series of intricate puzzles to uncover the truth. As you progress, you encounter a variety of strange and haunting characters, each contributing to learning more about the old data. Inscription isn't just about strategic card battles. It's a psychological journey filled with twists that keep you on the edge of your seat. And the game's unique art style changes between all three acts that it has. And its atmosphere soundtrack add to the overall sense of dread and curiosity, making each playthrough a uniquely immersive experience. If you're a fan of games that challenge your mind and creep under your skin, Inscription is a must-play. With its blend of genres, which honestly, it's not just card building, it's puzzle solving and much, much more. This game promises an unforgettable adventure and requires you to not only play once, but after you play your first time, your second playthrough will be entirely different, because each time you play, you learn a little bit more about the game and uncover little deep, dark secrets that each mode has to offer. I recommend, if you play Inscription, please, oh please, check out every single detail. Even the smallest things can have you uncover some dark secrets about the old data. Anyways, I really hope that you check out Inscription. I'm pretty sure Inscription is on PC, but it is also moving slowly and surely to consoles. But on the current moment, it is on PC. I recommend playing it on PC. And it has a modding scene. You know how much I love modding things, and their mod scene is absolutely fantastic. Anyways, though, next up, I'm going to be bringing up with you Kevin with some all-important news, and I just cannot wait to hear the interesting fact that's going to be shared.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Youth Connect News. I'm your host, Kevin Aruja. Let's get right into the headlines. The Liberal government launches $1.5 billion program to build more co-op housing. The wheel trans service will continue if the TTC workers goes on strike on Friday. Curtains closing for Toronto's Phoenix Concert Theaters, which hosted by Rolling Stones and Bob Dylan. And the Oilers captain Connor McDavid thinks that Oilers can handle the aggressive Panthers. Housing Minister Sean Fraser announced the launch of a $1.5 billion cooperative housing development program that the federal government promised in its 2022's budget. Fraser was in Winnipeg on Thursday to announce the program, which Liberals touted as the largest federal investment in co-op housing in 30 years. The program is expected to build thousands of new homes by 2028. Though the exact number will depend on where those homes are built. Co-op housing is managed by the residents with no outside landlord and typically operates on break-even basis. The federal government said that program was co-designed with the Cooperative Housing Federation of Canada, which represents more than 900 co-ops across the country, as well as the other leaders in the sector. The program is one element of the plan released this spring outlining the federal government plans to tackle housing affordability. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau government has been trying to reinvigorate younger voters by addressing key economic issues such as housing, which polling suggests are causing many of them to turn away from the Liberals. Fraser said the program will prioritize funding for projects that help women and Indigenous communities. The high interest rates have weighed on many mortgage holders as their interest payments have increased. Many housing developers have also had to cost projects due to higher financing cost. Fraser said that there is an interest rates continuing to fall. It will both reduce the cost of building and the cost of borrowing the mortgage holders. The union representing more than 11,000 TTC workers has agreed to keep Wheels Trans service up even if its members walk off the job on Friday. Amalgamated Transit Union, which is Local 113, the union representing TTC operators, collectors, and maintenance workers, station staff, and other frontline TTC employees, confirmed this week the Wheel Trans service, which provides transportation for persons with disabilities, will continue even in the event of a labor action. The ATU Local 113 members have been without a contract since March 31st and are set to strike on Friday if the tentative agreement cannot be reached before that date. Speaking to CP24 on Tuesday, the TTC spokesperson Stuart Green said he expected the contract talks will go down to the wire. He added that the talks have been productive and professional, and while he would not disclose any details of the negotiations, Green said the city is looking for a deal that is fair and affordable. The city has repeatedly stated that they have contingency plan in place for transit riders in the event of a strike, but few details have been provided. The Toronto's famed Phoenix Concert Theaters is closing its doors after more than 33 years. The owners of the downtown venue, which has hosted by Bob Dylan, the Rolling Stones, and Billie Eilish, it said on Wednesday they marked January 15th, 2025 for the final show as plans go ahead to transform the grounds into residential housing. In the coming months, they plan to announce a packed send-off calendar with performances from artists who have played the space over the years, an effort to recapture the venue's untethered party atmosphere. The closure is in the latest in a string of small Toronto concert venues that have been replaced with condos, including the Hoxton and the Silver Dollar Room. The Phoenix Concert Theater has a storied history. It served as German-Canadian club for community events before it was repurposed in the early 1980s as a diamond club. It became the Phoenix in 1991 and eventually a hotspot for budding local musical talent and established favorites looking to play smaller rooms. When Dylan rolled into Toronto for 3 shows in 2004. He picked the Phoenix as one of the different sized venues, giving an exclusive audience and rare experience. A year later, the Stones charged the venue's regular cover with a price of $10 for their show. The other acts who have hit the Phoenix Canadian legends Rush, the tragically hip, and Alanis Morissette. Several promising possibilities are up for consideration, each with the capacity of just over 1,000 people, even though she said it is too early to make the announcements. In sports news, the Edmonton Oilers know what to expect from the Florida Panthers. Lots of hits, scrums after the whistle, a mix of skill and willpower. But the Oilers said they are not intimidated by the physical challenges posed by the Panthers. They will be ready to answer the bell when the Stanley Cup final begins on Saturday night. Florida has made beating the Beasts of the East look rather easy. They beat the New York Rangers in 6 games in the Eastern Conference final, but the Blue Shirts got both of their wins in overtime. At no time were the Rangers decisively better than the Panthers. Before that, they beat the big bad Boston Bruins at their own game, playing a nasty physical brand of hockey in a 6-game series win. Alexander Barkov, arguably the best two-way forward in the game, neutralized Bruins star David Pastrnak, and Sam Bennett knocked the Brad Marchand over with a series with a borderline vicious hit. The Tampa Bay Lightning and all the team's Stanley Cup experience were the Panthers' first victims. Florida took out with a state rival in 5 games. The Dallas Stars, who the Oilers beat to the Western Conference final, are not as big and mean as the Panthers. But the Oilers believe that their second round series will win over the Vancouver Canucks, prepare them well for what Florida will bring. The Oilers were down 3 out of 2 to Vancouver, but came back to win in 7 grueling games. The Canucks were credited with 289 hits in the series, an average for more than 40 per night. If the Oilers do lift the cup, Edmonton fans could write thank you notes to the Canucks for helping their team prep for the Panthers. In today's weather forecast, we've got a risk of a thunderstorm this afternoon. The temperature is now 19 degrees. And tomorrow we will get mainly sunny. The temperature will be 22 degrees. And now moving forward to an interesting fact for the topic is bubblegum. Yes, my favorite bubblegum of all is cotton candy. So I want to tell you a story about Butch bubblegum. With its vibrant colors, irresistible fruitness, and the promise of endless bubbles, has been a beloved treat for over 90 years and continues to captivate people around the world. Wherever you are a child blowing your first bubble or an adult indulging in a sweet nostalgic moment, the sticky delight of bubblegum remains a simple pleasure that brings joy and smile to faces across generations. Bubblegum was invented by Walter E. Demer in 1928. He was an accountant at the American confectionery company Fleer and was testing out the new recipes for chewing gum using liver blubber, a formulation that had previously been developed by Frank H. Fleer in 1906. The formula was basically a stretchy version of chewing gum, but was problematic. But up to this point, had never have been used due to its brittle texture, and the fact that it was incredibly difficult to remove from the face after the bubble had burst. Damer solved the problem by adding latex to the formula, and Fleer named it Double Bubble, which became the very first brand of bubblegum. So I got 7 facts about bubblegum. Walter Demer created the first ever bubblegum. Walter Demer was an American accountant who worked for Fleer Chewing Gum Company. Even though his career entailed more finance, Walter liked experimenting with gum recipe during his spare time in 1928. During one of its tests, he created today's version of bubblegum. The Fleer Company had previously made a batch of bubblegum around 1906. However, they were not successful as Walter. Their products, blubber, were too sticky. Bubblegum's flavor vary. While it's true, but there's a bubblegum flavor. Bubblegum flavors vary depending on the manufacturer. Various esters are often mixed, but the most common ones being amyl acetate, ethyl butyrate, methyl. Sorry, I could not explain this. But moving forward, naturally, you can produce the bubblegum flavor by mixing wintergreen, banana, cloves, pineapple, and cinnamon. Sorry for name butchering. The third fact is McDonald's once created a bubblegum flavored broccoli. Yes, in a bid to push children into eating healthier meals. McDonald's once created bubblegum flavored broccoli. Unfortunately, the plan did not see the light of day as it was rejected after being tested on some children's focus groups. They found the project very confusing. Pink is the most famous bubblegum color. Of colors, pink is the most preferred bubblegum color. However, there is nothing special about it. It's only that when Walter Demmer was experimenting, pink was the only food coloring he had. There is a secret to blowing big bubbles. While bubblegums are structured to blow bubbles, how big they become depends on the chewer's technique. Interestingly, the stretch to blowing ultimate bubbles is taking it slow. It allows the bubblegum to stretch and grow efficiently. The Rhinoceros Party wants to change Canada's currency to bubblegum. Sorry for our name butchering. Officially, the Rhinoceros Party was a registered political party in Canada from 1963 to 1993. Among many ridiculous things the organization stood for, it wanted to change the country's official currency to bubblegum so it could be deflated and inflated willingly. And last fact is, there is a tourist attraction in California where visitors stick the chewed bubblegums on the wall. It is located in a downtown San Luis Obispo in California. The Bubblegum Alley is a tourist attraction where people stick their chewed up gum on its walls. The site, which has existed for about 2 decades, has millions of pre-chewed gums, with the number expected to rise with more visitors flocking to the region. That's all for me. My name is King Off. I'm sending you back to Aiden.
Okay, guys, so I was researching about all the types of gums, and I wanted to choose specifically one gum that I thought was really interesting. First of all, for everybody that's in the chat right now, this is not for you. This is not for my co-hosts. But if you had the choice to have Thanksgiving leftover gumballs, which one was flavored cranberry, one's pumpkin pie, and one is turkey, all put together into a nice little tin, would you eat a Thanksgiving leftover gumballs? I don't think I would, but it sounds weird. And for my co-hosts, I wanted to choose a gum that I think that you guys would like. I tried to choose a gum that really was interesting, but not too weird. Okay, imagine this. You have the fruitiness of tropical fruit like mango, pineapple, and passion fruit, but you also have the spiciness and the kick of black pepper, and it's called pepper fruit gum. So tropical fruit and black pepper combined together in a gum. Would you take the pepper fruit gum?
Nah, I don't think I would.
Okay,
If it was just
I got one
tropical,
no.
I would have it, but together with that, no, I wouldn't take it.
Okay. What about you, Kevin?
I'd rather stick to cotton candy.
Okay.
better,
Okay.
but no.
And what about our chef Logan? Would you try these pepper fruit gums?
I will say it's actually somewhat intriguing. This kind of has something to do with what I have in plans for to talk about today, actually.
Ooh, I'm so intrigued. But would you try it, Logan? Is it just a
Yeah,
maybe?
I'd probably give it a try.
Okay, probably give it a try. That sounds good because I will probably buy some pepper fruit gum. Do watch out. I might have a pack for everybody to try some. They're actually apparently really good. Anyways, time to move on to our second gaming news. So, interesting fact, if you guys love the studio that created Neon Genesis Evangelion or I don't know. I don't know how to specifically say it. I just say Neon Genesis, which is much easier to say. Uh Evangelion, I think is what it says. So I found some news about the most famous and popular studio that created Gurren Lagann, FLCL, and the legendary Neon Genesis Evangelion. Okay, that is what it is. Evangelion. La, 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 la. Anyway, the creators that made Neon Genesis have been struggling financially for several years. And on June 7th, which is actually today, the company announced it's filing for bankruptcy and closing down. So, despite prestige associated with the studio, Gainax, which has been dealing with financial woes throughout its nearly 40-year history, has been struggling for quite a long time. The studio has been marred by production issues, tax fraud in the 90s, and multiple lawsuits, including some involving Studio Kara, which was founded by Gainax founder and Neon Genesis director Hideki Anno. All of these issues snowballed over the decades until finally a debt collection company filed a lawsuit against Gainax this May, leading to bankruptcy filing on May 29th. A statement on the company's official website has said that it has explained the company has racked up a lot of debt, especially in the years since 2012. The studio lays the blame at the feet of the company management, who operate the company as if it were their private property, actually, according to Automaton Translation. It says the studio is closing, but the Gainax trademark has been transferred to Studio Kara, and that company has released its own statement on its website explaining that while Anno left the company in 2007 and became a shareholder at Gainax, attempts by him and others to correct the studio's poor management could not right the ship given its decades of debt. So Studio Kara will work to transfer IP rights to companies and creatives, and the statement signs off expressing regret that Gainax work has ended on this note. So, you know what? I've heard a lot about, you see, I'm not a true Evangelion jellyfish, Eva jellyfish. Neon Genesis fan. I am not a fan of this series. I've heard about it so much because it was very, very controversial during its time, because it was so mind-blowing for a lot of people, and it was so controversial because it was loved by the creators in Japan and loved by Americans as well. It was a huge hit, and that's why actually Japanese anime started porting over to the US and Canada, was because of Neon Genesis Evangelion, or Evangelion. You know what? I just hope that eventually the rights are settled, and hopefully they are going to be supporting it. It has a 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb. It's a really good series, and I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix. So if you want to watch Neon Genesis, you can. And I really, really hope that you enjoy it. Just warning in advance, the reason why it was so popular was also because of its ending. Because its ending was really confusing and abstract to many viewers and critics alike. It didn't end in a normal way of good ending. It ended in such a weird way. They say it's a cliffhanger. They say it was like a weird dream. They never know. And critics are still deciding on what the ending is all about to this very day. Anyways, though, I hope that you check it out. It is awesome. And please support the creator. Please support the creator for creating that awesome series. And let us give it some good luck. Anyways, though, I'm going to keep the ball rolling because I feel like I'm looping. Because next up, we are going to be having Logan. And Logan is going to be sharing with us some cooking knowledge. And I can't wait to see what he has to share relating to my pepper fruit gum.
Hello, Youth Connect. I am Logan. And to explain why I considered the whole pepper fruit gum thing so instrumental and so connected to what I have to talk about today, that's because today's lesson that I'm going to give is on the topic of taste receptors. Basically, I'll go over all the different tastes that the human tongue can detect. And so, first off, I'll talk about the 5 main tastes. Now, the 5 main tastes are sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami. Now, if you've ever been on the internet for some time, or you probably was shown this in the class sometime, you may have seen an image, something like this, called like the tongue taste map, and it shows that these different taste receptors hide in different parts of the tongue. Well, right now I'm going to tell you that you should probably disregard that knowledge. It is a hoax, because the truth is that these taste receptors are all evenly distributed around the tongue. They don't really hide out in their own specific location. But yeah, these taste receptors are instrumental in identifying the different tastes of different foods. So, going over the 5 different tastes, the main tastes, I'll talk about some additional tastes later on. Now, the first taste that I'll talk about is sweet. Now, everybody probably is familiar with sweet tastes. It is a taste that is meant to identify the presence of sugar inside food. It also extends to a lot more than just sugar. Stuff like syrup or honey, as well as, say, treacle, basically sources of glucose that tell you, you put it in your mouth and you identify, this tastes pretty sweet. And it's a very pleasant, just a very good, very pleasant taste. The second of the 5 main tastes, then, is salty. This is meant to identify the presence of salt or sodium in foods. And you'd be surprised with what a little bit of salt can sometimes round out in some dishes, but I'll go over that a little bit later on. Now, the third type of taste is sour tastes, and these are meant to identify foods with high acidity, very high pH value, very high acidity. Brings out this intense mouth-puckering sensation by its when eaten by itself, at least. You know, you like bite into a lemon and you go like. But yeah, sour taste is mostly found with different citrus fruits, like say lemons or limes. Some other fruits have it as well as also vinegar. Now, the next taste I'll go over is bitter. So now, bitter is probably the most intense of all the different the main flavor sensations. And there's an actually pretty interesting scientific theory as to why this is possible. Many posit the reason why many different bitter foods taste the way they are is actually a means of self-preservation from like the nervous system. Let me explain. So, there are a lot of different harmful substances around the world that are actually very bitter in taste. And so scientists have actually believed that human brains have evolved to therefore associate bitter tastes with poison, which is why bitter tastes elicit such a very strong reaction whenever you taste it. Now, of course, this doesn't necessarily mean that all bitter foods or bitter substances are poisonous. It's just a little theory on why whenever we eat something that's bitter, we have such a sharp, strong reaction. And so many different foods that are bitter include stuff like these. We have stuff like grapefruits, or like dark leafy vegetables, chocolate, like specifically dark chocolate. Coffee is a notably bitter one. Foods like that. Now, the final of the main 5 tastes I'll go over is umami. Now, umami, for a long time, is probably the most disputed flavor of the 5 main flavors. It actually got that status, all things considered, kind of recently. It was first identified in 1908, but was not scientifically recognized as one of the 5 main flavors until 1985. Now, it is meant to mainly identify the savory flavor of meat, although some other vegan food items, like say mushroom and soy sauce, are also identified as having this very same taste, triggering these same taste receptors. So, those are the 5 main flavors: sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami. But there are a few additional tastes that don't exactly have their own status as, say, a main flavor. the first one that I'll talk about is astringent. Now, astringent is very similar to bitter, but it's sort of different with how it's classified, because specifically astringent is meant to is meant to detect the presence of a chemical known as tannins in food. Tannins have a very sharp, tart flavor that is very bitter, and it basically includes stuff like the peels of unripened fruits, certain nuts, certain herbs, and most notably alcoholic drinks like wine. If you've ever had a sip of wine and wonder why it's so bitter, it's not exactly bitter, it's more astringent because wine is full of tannins. But yeah, since it's very similar to bitter, it's not exactly at the same main level as the 5 main tastes. Now, the next flavor that I'll go over is pungent. Now, pungent is a flavor that is mostly used to categorize, basically detecting the presence of, say, spicy food like a whole bunch of chili peppers. Although more interestingly, it's also referring to certain sharp, very funky flavors, like, say, of onions or garlic. If you've ever been into, like, I don't know, if you ever like bitten into an onion like an apple, which is kind of weird, but like I should probably say, if you ever had like raw onions, or if you've ever eaten a raw garlic clove and you probably tasted it, and you'll probably find that it actually tastes very spicy, like chili peppers. And yeah, that is basically what the pungent flavor is. Now, the final flavor that I'll talk about today is richness. Now, richness is a very simple flavor. It's meant to detect the presence of fat and oil in food, like, say, butter, for example. Richness is a very creamy, very heavy flavor. It can be a little bit overwhelming when there's too much of it, but yeah. So those are some of the additional tastes aside from the main 5. Now, for our final lesson today, I will go over a little bit of a lesson on how to pair and balance these different flavors. Since, of course, individually, each of these flavors can be pretty intense. And so one of the best things that you can do as a chef is to find out how you can combine these two flavors together, how you can enhance and brighten certain ones, and how you can prevent it from being all too overwhelming. Now, first, I'll go over all the different flavor pairings. Now, sweet balances salty and sour flavors very well, and they can also help in cutting back astringent or pungent flavors. Salty helps with enhancing sweet or umami flavors. Sour balances sweet and rich flavors. Bitter also balances sweet and rich flavors, and umami enhances various salty flavors. So yeah, that's just a little quick 10-second lesson on how you can pair different flavors together. And that will do it for today. Thank you all for listening, and back to you, Aiden.
Out of all of the different types of tastes, I really have to say to you, Logan, that my favorite is umami with its soy sauce. But Logan, have you heard of miracle berries before?
Oh yeah, I've heard about those. They're those fruits that turn sour flavors sweet.
Indeed. Actually, a lot of people have been telling me that miracle berries are used as a natural sweetener. So you don't have to use sugar and things anymore because your brain already thinks that it's actually sweet. So you actually lower on carbs. And some people say that's really, really good for getting calorie intake down. I don't know. I don't know how well it works, but you know what? I think that I'll have to try it sometime. And I really loved learning about them. Logan, out of all of the like all of the flavors or tastes that your tongue can taste, what is your favorite? There's umami, there's sour, there's bitter. What is your favorite?
That's a very tough choice to make. I'd say that I like just about all of them equally, except for bitter.
Okay, that makes sense. You know what? Bitter is not.
Bitter is intense. I mean, like the brain literally identifies it as danger. So yeah.
Yeah, your brain doesn't have a fun time with it. I could definitely see that. Thank you so much, Logan. You know what? I loved learning all about the different regions of my tongue, and I really appreciate it. I guess that's why sometimes when you eat sugary things, you can't taste them on the sides of your tongue or something like that. So, honestly, thank you so much, Logan. All right. Before we go to our live music, it's time for some community news. So, this past week, our community came together for the much anticipated Green Thumb event, and it was a day to remember. The Super Ability Crew Gardeners and our Butterfly Way Rangers and communities all joined forces for a wonderful day of gardening, learning, and community spirit. The event kicked off with a lively seedling exchange, and gardeners of all ages and skill levels brought a variety of seedlings to share, and then it was planting time. This year, the crew have decided to once again create a swirl design, or a yin yang, or a black hole, if you want to call it, but I like just saying swirl, design of vibrant flowers, herbs, and hardy vegetables. And diversity of plants is a representation of inclusion. Because if you guys know, every year you go from vegetables to pollinators, to vegetables to pollinators, so that the ground and the dirt stays well maintained, because obviously, if you grow vegetables, it takes the nutrients from the soil. So when you plant flowers, you're giving the nutrients back to the soil. So 1 year's flowers, 1 year's of flowers, and obviously vegetables and fruits and whatever. So that way we can support the butterflies and our bees and whichever pollinator comes to our wonderful garden. Our community did so well. Look at these awesome photos of our awesome community. They did fantastic. I'm so proud of them. And hopefully next year, if you guys can, and you guys can make the journey over next year, we'll do our seedling exchange the same time, or not same time, but we'll do our seedling exchange every single year. So hopefully you guys can join us next week in our community for the seedling exchange. Anyways, though, I know that we are all excited to get into it, because next up we have Jeffrey with some live music.
Hi everybody, it is that time again to bring you some music to dance to, and I'm going to be playing one of my original songs called Through the Darkness. So be ready to jam out with me. No matter how dark today, yeah, tomorrow will capture the light. Not for a minute, an hour or day, but we need to work together. Let it be another second to become bright. Turn off your sorrow, don't swallow your anger. No matter who you are or how dark your past is today, say no. Turn off your sorrow, just let it go. Release the pain, say no. Turn off your sorrow, just let it go. It's time to stand up again. Hold on to my hand and move forward together through the pain. Like droplets of bright-colored rain. All it takes is a little flash and hope and dash of happiness. Glimpse of highlight to break the darkness. To brighten our mood and make things right. We need to work together, holding on so tight. No matter where you are, it's just you and me and everyone else. Turn off your sorrow, don't swallow your anger. No matter who you are or how dark your past is today, say no. Turn off your sorrow, just let it go. Release the pain, say no. Turn off your sorrow, just let it go. It's time to stand up again. Hold on to my hand and move forward together through the pain. Like droplets of bright-colored rain. Oh no. Woo! All it takes is a little flash and open dash of happiness. Glimpse of firelight, break the darkness. Spread our mood and make things right. We need to work together, holding on so tight. Wherever you are, it's just you and me and everyone else. It's time to stand up again. Hold on to my hand and move forward together through the pain. Like droplets of bright-colored rain. It's time to stand up again. Hold on to my hand and move forward together through the pain. It's like droplets of bright-colored rain. Droplets of bright-colored rain. Droplets of bright-colored rain. Droplets of bright-colored rain. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Thank you so much, everyone. This is Jeffrey, your live musician. See you all next week. And make sure to check out my website, jeffreyinkerman.com. Anyways, back to you, Aiden. Bye, everybody.
You know what? That just shows me that Jeff is an awesome musician. And like I said before, guys, if you ever need a musician, if you ever need a chef, if you ever need a broadcaster, if you ever need an artist, you should just check out the Super Ability Crew, because we are really shining our skills and showing you guys that we can do anything. Oh, what an awesome episode of Youth Connect. I hope that you guys liked Youth Connect. If you liked Youth Connect, make sure to like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe.
Make sure you don't forget to click the notification bell.
That's right. That's right, Kevin. That's right. Oh my gosh, I almost called you Jeffrey. My bad, Kevin. Anyways, though, I hope that you had a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed Jeffrey, our chef, Logan, our musician, and Kevin, who is doing our gaming news. I am Bernadette, and we will see you all next time. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys, and really have fun. Do something awesome. It's a bit gloomy outside, but you know what? Just enjoy.